Hello, Farlanders. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. This is episode 783 of the series as we exit. Ooh, I thought I heard another wolf, and there's multiple wolves. I thought I heard additional wolves out here at the start of episode 783, like I've been saying for the last 30 seconds. This episode going to be released on Sunday, May 17th, 2020, but being recorded live here on Twitch the day before. Might as well get some more wood here while we're at it. Bloop, bloop, bloop. As we continue west here in Minecraft Beta 173, you missed it in the last stream, which is up on YouTube. We near the end, walked through a pretty magical, craggy, mountainous, floaty bitness sort of area that I thought we were going to start this episode in, but it ended before we had a chance. Yoink. So that's at the end of the live stream if you've not been watching the live streams, but that's fine. It's okay. Because we're still walking west here. And we're still making progress. And we're still raising money for PAWS, Progressive Animal Welfare Society, here in the Seattle area. We're up to $2,165 raised for the charity so far. That's farlandsorbust.com is where you can find all those links and information and ways to donate and ways to, when you do donate, ask a question that will be added to the list to be answered in the next episode. I do appreciate everybody who continues to do that. Much appreciated indeed. I do have some space news. I don't know if that's a segment anymore. I certainly don't have an opening jingle or logo or anything, but space news. In less than a couple weeks, on May 27th, is due to be the first crewed launch from U.S. soil into space. The International Space Station with the Crew Dragon. The first Crew Dragon launch that is crewed by two NASA astronauts, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley. Veterans of space flights past are both going to ride Falcon 9 with the Crew Dragon capsule from Kennedy Space Center, Florida, pad 39A. And that is happening on May 27th. Of course, I did earlier say, like, since, what was it, July 2011, I think was the last space shuttle launch. I was like, oh, I'd really, of all the launches, I'd like to go to the first crewed launch. That would have something to do with it. That would be something to go see, having missed all the Falcon Heavy launches and any other sort of launch since the Juno launch was the first and only launch I really saw up close. But that's obviously not going to happen. They are discouraging people from gathering to watch the launch. Whether or not people are actually going to adhere to that, I don't know. But we'll definitely be trying to keep track of that. I don't know. I don't know if there is even a time set. I'm sure there is, but obviously they have to launch to line up and rendezvous with the International Space Station. So I hope it's during the daytime, but I don't know that they really can control that. Oh, look, it's like a pre-made elevated hidey hole. It's a trap. Interesting. I think this deserves a torch. Okay, that's weird. So yeah, that's happening May 27th. Like I said, oh, well, 10 days. 10 days from when this episode goes live, I suppose. Like, was that a Wednesday then? That must be the Wednesday. 27th must be a Wednesday. So yeah, that's some news. That's some news. Of course, the Crew Dragon, having already successfully tested its in-flight abort, as well as its launch and rendezvous and docking with the International Space Station and return to the planet Earth. Should be definitely a big deal. A big deal. A big deal indeed. Yeah, that's some space news. We've known about that for a while. They've set the date a little bit ago, but let's just say other things have taken the forefront of our minds, I think. How many astronauts can fit in the capsule? I believe 7. I believe 7. I believe they've designed it so that it carries as many as could have been carried on the space shuttle. I could be wrong, though. I could have incorrect information there. But I do believe 7 astronauts could ride in a Crew Dragon. I'm waiting for somebody in chat to correct me, but pretty sure it's 7. But for the first flight, I believe it's 2. Just like the first space shuttle flight was only 2. It was, oh god, Bob Crippen and, the Apollo astronaut. What's his name? Young! Yeah. What's his first name? John Young? John Young? John Young? Is it? Sure. Yeah, that's the one. Neil. Well, yeah, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Well, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. We will keep an eye on that. What else is new around here? What else is new around these parts? Not much. I was just explaining to chat earlier how I ran out of my allergy medication. And all of a sudden my nose and my throat are playing up, so I apologize. I apologize if I sound snurfled or kerfluffled at some point or another. I know I'm going the right way because I'm going west. I've always been traveling west. And also the compass always points back to the original spawn point. So as long as I'm walking away from the compass, then I know I'm walking away from my original spawn point. Sometimes I get confused and start walking the wrong way, but that's neither here nor there. Man, I'm sure other things have happened, but I'm not fully thinking of them. Yeah. Look at all this sand. Look at it all. Spelunk. Ooh, this looks fun. Floaty bits, some cliffy bits, some watery bits. Those are all technical geological terminologies. Floaty bits. Ooh. Wolfie? Alright, let's make an elevated hidey hole here. I'm all confused. Now that's a problem I did not anticipate. I've gotten used to doing the live stream Farlands that I forget. I forget how to do the episodes, which are also like podcasts. And, you know, dead air tends not to be a thing you want to have in these. But let's go to sleep and I'll resolve that in the morning. And dead airness. Allergies. Ah, dang it, my boat. My boat is going away. Kib has a donation and question. We all know about your interest in semi-classic cars. Wait, semi-trucks that are classic? I don't get it. Semi-classic cars. Who you calling semi-classic? And the automotive industry in general. Meh, I think. Okay, I won't nitpick the terminology you're using here. But does any of that interest extend to two wheels? Bicycles. I did just ride a bicycle for the first time in. It has to have been at least 15, maybe 20 years. The girlfriend has a bicycle. It's just one of those beach cruiser bicycles. But she was roller skating, and I was bicycling. Instead of like going for a walk. Well, that was different. I'm very happy to report. It's just like riding a bicycle. You don't forget. You remember how to stay balanced. Yeah, that was interesting. That was very interesting. It's just like a 7-speed. It's a men's bicycle too. She has a men's bicycle. Just saying. Not that it matters. We didn't know how to. None of us have a bike rack, so we were just trying to put them in the back of our cars. The front wheel pops off. We didn't know how that works. So hopefully we pop it back on correctly, or else we're going to be in for a rude surprise one day. So that was fun. Like, you know, there's a little latch and a spring on the, I guess, what you could call the axle. And that pulls off, but then you also got to disconnect the front brakes, which we didn't quite realize. So hopefully that's right. I should look up, like, the instruction manual to, like, make sure we did that right. That was a little bit of a concern while I was riding. I'm like, did we put this wheel back on right? Is that... Do I have to worry about the wheel coming off? Oh, we're sinking! Well, that was different. I didn't get tired either. I mean, weren't like going uphill or anything like that, but it was just like a paved bike path, walking path, county path, river path, river walk path, something. Well, that's an activity that happened. What was I saying? Oh, does your interest extend to two wheels, bicycles? Just kidding, motorcycles. Do you know anything about or have you ever considered getting into motorbikes? I know your and the girlfriend's tattoos would be welcome in the community, that's for sure. Well, that's just stereotyping there, Kib. I'll have you know. And I only have one tattoo that's barely visible. I've mentioned this before. Not really. I know I think she said she's considered it, but she has had experience with friends in the past who have ended up in accidents on their motorbikes, and that has kind of turned her off from the idea. Like, no, not really. I guess just because I don't... I guess, like, the need to, like, go to school or, like, a class again and get, like, a new license is really what turns me off. Kind of also what turns me off about, like, flight school and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. I'm pretty much done learning. My brain is full of all it's going to be full of. It's full of something, I tell you what. Oop. Ah. So, yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think there are some cool bikes out there, like particularly older ones, or the, I don't know what they would be called, cafe racers, bobbers, or whatever. I do not like the Harley Davidson fandom is kind of like the Mustang fandom in cars. It's kind of like just one of those that like it leaves a bad taste in your mouth sometimes, I guess. But no, I mean, I guess yeah, the safety of driving in a car, the, I suppose, supposed safety of driving in a car, the shielding from weather is nice. Yeah, I think we were making a comment about watching somebody who was on a motorcycle as we were driving, and they were just like wearing regular clothes and like a t-shirt and jeans or whatever. And it's like, if I was to ride a motorcycle, we would want to be like fully, not even like leather, but like the whole Kevlar, like, so it's not something you can just like jump in and drive. I feel like you definitely want to suit up for safety. Obviously a helmet and all that stuff. So yeah, no, I just not really interested. I mean, I know they're cheaper than cars, that's for sure, generally speaking. But yeah, not really. Aesthetically, I find some of them aesthetically pleasing, but beyond that, I'm not interested in riding or driving or whatever, piloting. But thank you anyway for the question and the donation. Lethos has a question. If somebody were to keep statistics about your journey so that they could present them at the end of your journey, what would be your top 5 or 10 statistics you would like to see, or would be the most interesting to know? Probably like the rate at which I'm walking, the amount of spawners I find. I mean, I don't know, I might have an inventory full of golden apples if I just keep holding on to the golden apples. Maybe beds used. I mean, simple stuff like, obviously, how far offset the middle I am is just going to be as easy as pressing F3 to find out. Yeah, I don't know. Bread consumed. Yeah, I mean, beds made, beds slept in, boats broken. Or just simply boats made, I suppose, because not all of them break. So there was like a Reddit, or somebody was doing Farland statistics, but I do not envy that job. I mean, even just being able to, like, if there was a way to, like, search and collect all of the signs I ever placed, and just, like, look back at all the signs and what they said, that would be a cool, like, resource to have. Wolfie treats fed. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not much of, like, a statistics guy, or, like, numbers guy, clearly. Pink sheep found. Pink sheep would be one. No, times jumped. Like that's when the number becomes so big, it's kind of less interesting. I'm more interested in like counting rare things, like golden apples or pink sheep found, you know. But yeah, I don't know if that was 5 or 10, but those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. And I think they're more related to, like, in-world stuff versus, like, as I'm seeing in the chat, like, how many times did you say indeed? Or say careful Wolfie. It's like, oh god, that scared me. How'd you get on this side before me? He's a dang magician. Alright, elevated hidey hole. Oops. Oops. Well, let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And awakeness. That's a super heavy duty elevated hidey hole. Ha, duty. I definitely lean more left, which is why I'm purposefully going right. Because it very much angers the people. It angers them how much I've drifted to the left. It's slowing me down so much. We'll never get there. Wow, that actually kind of hurt to make that noise with my current condition. Indeed. We had an anonymous donation to pause just before we started the stream here, or the recording here, I suppose. Thank you very much. They ask, do you think persons will change their consumption and or leisure habits in the United States permanently due to COVID-19 too? I should hope so. Nobody knows. That's kind of the thing. And I kind of went off on a tangent in the last live stream talking about this sort of adjacent stuff. Despite... Oh, that was... I thought the whole thing was going to fall down. Despite kind of previously saying, I understand if you want to take a break from that stuff, and I really don't want to inject too much of it into specifically Far Lands or Busts, or even I really don't talk about it on streams, definitely not on Twitter. But at the same time, it's hard not to acknowledge, and it's hard not to at least acknowledge that, hey, we're all dealing with it differently, but it is something we're all dealing with. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was talking at the end of the stream about restaurants and whether or not those were going to be things that endure. And like, there's two sides of the coin there. Of course they are. The restaurants, they've been here forever. But no, I mean, no, but also no. Like, they don't have to. It would be nice if they did, but there's so much at play here, both global public health wise as well as societally wise and politically wise, that economically wise, either there are going to need to be some major uncomfortable changes made, or this is the sort of thing that's going to happen every year. Like, that's the nuts of it. That's the beans. That's the beans of the situation, unfortunately. So yeah, that's tough to say. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's, I mean, and you know, the stuff we're doing right now has no indication or implications of as to the stuff we're going to be doing when, quote unquote, this is over, quote unquote, if this is actually ever going to be over. So, man, yeah, like, there's no saying. I can't say. I'm not comfortable saying because I don't know. Like I said, people are trying both things. They want to be back to normal, but normal wasn't good for the vast majority of people. If this is the outcome of what happens with this sort of thing, so yeah, there's going to be people fighting change. There's going to be people pushing for change. There's going to be the vast majority of people not knowing what is going on and what the change is and what needs to happen, and is just trying to endure, which I feel like I'm in that camp where we'd like to be optimistic, but there's not much providing that optimism for us, towards us. So yeah, consumption and leisure habits. I mean, it's definitely got to be the U.S. I mean, obviously we have done the worst at handling this, but then again, have also are built on consumption by a significant margin above the rest of the world. So, yeah, it's tough. I don't know. That is difficult to say. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm watching Star Trek through for the first time. They're supposedly in a post-consumerist, post-monetary, we have no need for personal possessions and things like that. Yet, even in the show, they really didn't resolve that sort of stuff, because clearly each of the members of the show have possessions, have trinkets around each of their rooms, have things that they value. If not monetarily, then they value the space they take up. So we can think of these idealistic ideas, but it doesn't fit into the way the world works. I don't know. I'm rambling now. So I don't know. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's very tough to say. And it's hard. It's definitely gonna take more than this one thing. Oh, shoot. Get out of there, Wolfie. God. You made me break that boat because you were going to start taking drowning damage underneath it. But yeah. I mean, just, this is gonna happen. There's gonna be some changes. It's going to happen again, or worse, or just repeat itself. There's gonna need to be more changes. So as much as we would like everything to change at once, how did I do that? How do that? Oh, I must have placed it on the side of the grass here. Oh, I'm a wizard here. So yeah, I don't tend to have any answers or clues, or I've said even before, I'm trying to I keep up-ish with things, but I also don't want to allow myself to get inundated with it, which is a wrong way to, I think, subject yourself to the weight of the scenario if you yourself are not responsible for so many of the things. Yes, it's overwhelming even in small doses, and it's not what it's not a single person decision thing. It's going to take not only as a society but as a species, and that is a very difficult concept for us to grasp. As a species, things need to change, and those happen on a evolutionary scale. I'm not saying we have to like biologically evolve, but just saying special changes are much slower even so than societal changes. So it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, very, very slowly, and it's going to be frustrating, and it can only kind of do what's best for what information we have, in ensuring it's the right information as well. So those are some words that I've presented to you in a structure that could resemble sentences, and that's where it ends. Oh man. Let's try to find a place to make the end of the episode hidey hole here. Oh, this is not a good place, but I think it's where we gotta be. Let's just dig under here. Hey, Wolfie, you wanna have a seat up here, maybe? No? Yes? Maybe? Oh, hip hop! Got him. Alright. Excuse. Okay. There it is. Indeed. Ah! It's so dark. There we go. So, I do appreciate you sticking through this episode, especially through that last day's... I feel like the cliff is going to be on that side, but it's not. The last day's conversation. Woo! Farlandsandbust.com, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, is where you can learn more about the series and donate to the charity. That'd be much appreciated. Keep that going. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching episode 783 of Farlands or Bust. Boink. I hope y'all had a good weekend, and yeah. My name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time. Floaty bits, some cliffy bits, some watery bits.